Today, Taiwan sits at the heart of the global tech industry. It produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors, and its leading chipmaker, TSMC, is the crown jewel of global supply chains. But just 50 years ago, Taiwan was known for rice, fruit exports, shoes, and umbrellas, not microchips. So how did this small island transform into a silicon superpower? This is the story of Taiwan's journey from agriculture to advanced chip manufacturing. In the 1950s, Taiwan's economy was overwhelmingly agricultural. Most people worked the land, but a wave of land reforms, backed by the United States, helped redistribute farmland, improve yields, and raise rural incomes. This agricultural boost laid the foundation for Taiwan's first economic miracle. In the 1960s, the government pivoted toward labor-intensive manufacturing, like textiles, toys, and plastics, kicking off decades of rapid growth. By the 1970s, Taiwan had outgrown farming and light manufacturing. Leaders feared getting stuck in the middle-income trap. They needed a leap, a technological leap. That leap began in 1973 with the creation of ITRI, the Industrial Technology Research Institute. Rather than invent everything from scratch, Taiwan made a bold move. They negotiated with RCA, an American company, for semiconductor technology. The deal brought tools, training, and know-how. By 1976, ITRI's demonstration fab was producing basic integrated circuits, with yields better than RCA's own plants. A seed had been planted. What is a fab? A fab, short for fabrication facility, is a specialized factory where semiconductors are produced. In simple terms, a fab is like a high-tech workshop where raw materials are transformed into the tiny chips that power our modern electronic devices. In 1980, Taiwan spun off its first local chip company, United Microelectronics Corporation, or UMC. Backed by government funding and ITRI expertise, UMC marked the start of a new industry. That same year, the Hsinchu Science Park opened. It would become the Silicon Valley of the East, attracting engineers, overseas returnees, and a growing ecosystem of tech firms. But there was a problem. Taiwan had design talent, but not enough manufacturing scale. A new model was needed. In 1985, Morris Chang, a veteran of Texas Instruments, was recruited to lead Taiwan's VLSI project. His idea was radical: separate chip design from manufacturing. Instead of doing both, a company could specialize in fabrication and serve others. So, Taiwan would build factories that only manufactured chips for others. With government backing and a key investment from Philips, Taiwan launched TSMC in 1987, the world's first pure-play semiconductor foundry. TSMC didn't design chips. It didn't sell to consumers. It just made other people's chips, with unmatched precision and reliability. Without the overhead of in-house design, TSMC could focus on what mattered most: cutting-edge manufacturing at scale. The model worked, and quickly outpaced the vertically integrated giants. Over the next 3 decades, Taiwan doubled down. Fabs multiplied, engineers trained, clients lined up. By the mid-2000s, Taiwan had surpassed the US, Japan, and Europe in foundry capacity. Today, Taiwan produces over 2/3 of the world's chips, and more than 90% of the most advanced ones. TSMC scaled relentlessly, investing billions into cutting-edge equipment and processes. It now produces chips for Apple, Nvidia, AMD, and even Intel. And yet, you rarely see a Taiwanese name on the chip itself. They chose to be the world's factory, not its brand. Why didn't Taiwan create its own Apple or Intel? Because it didn't need to. By focusing on manufacturing, Taiwan avoided the brutal competition of consumer branding. Instead, it built trust. As the most reliable and advanced chip maker on Earth, this wasn't a weakness, it was strategy. As Taiwan's fabs multiplied, many assumed cheap labor was the reason. But here's the truth: labor costs were never the driver of Taiwan's chip dominance. Even in the 1990s, labor accounted for less than 3% of a leading-edge fab's total cost of ownership. Today, it's even less. Chips aren't made in sweatshops. They're made in billion-dollar clean rooms by engineers and machines, and very few of either. What matters in semiconductors isn't cheap hands. It's deep capital. Building a leading-edge fab today costs upwards of $20 billion, yet it might only employ 3,000 people. So why the United States did not maintain its lead? It's not that Taiwan, South Korea, or Japan cheated. They backed their industries, strategically and at scale. TSMC wasn't fully private. It began as a state-owned enterprise, and even today, the Taiwanese government remains one of its largest shareholders. The real problem was the U.S. While Asian nations treated semiconductors as national priorities, American politicians clung to free market dogma. U.S. fabs received almost no government support, while their Asian counterparts thrived with state partnerships, R&D backing, and tax incentives. For decades, Washington refused to believe in industrial policy, and the results were predictable. Only recently, under the Biden administration, has the U.S. begun to wake up. With the CHIPS Act and renewed investment in domestic manufacturing, America is finally acknowledging what Taiwan knew all along. Semiconductors are strategic. But dominance comes with danger. Taiwan's chip industry is geographically concentrated, mostly around Hsinchu. It sits on seismic fault lines, depends on massive water and power supplies, and faces growing geopolitical pressure. U.S.-China tensions have already pulled Taiwan into the middle. To hedge its bets, TSMC is building new fabs in Arizona, Japan, and Germany, but Taiwan remains the beating heart of the world's chip supply. To stay ahead, Taiwan is investing in even more advanced technologies: 2-nanometer chips, AI accelerators, and quantum devices. At the same time, it's trying to balance progress with sustainability, modernizing agriculture, managing water, and protecting food security. It's no longer just about being the chip factory of the world. It's about resilience. Taiwan's journey from farmland to fabs didn't happen overnight. It took vision, risk-taking, and decades of coordination between public institutions and private innovation. By choosing to be the factory rather than the brand, Taiwan became the quiet force behind the digital world. Now its challenge is to protect that role in an uncertain future. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and join us for more stories on how technology shapes the world.